This is Wellspring, presented by Spectrum Health-Zeeland Community Hospital on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.
And on this Thursday, June the 3rd, we go once again to Sara Donkersloot in our Zoom connection this morning. Good morning, Sara.
Good morning, Gary, and welcome to Wellspring, a live broadcast sponsored by Spectrum Health-Zeeland Community Hospital. And I'm delighted on the other end of this Zoom call to have Jim Root. He is here today to talk about his life-changing experience with bariatric surgery at Zeeland Community Hospital. So, Jim, nice to meet you via a Zoom connection.
Yes, nice to meet you as well, Sara, and hello, good morning, Gary.
So, Jim, let's talk a little bit about a background on your story. Talk about your history of weight struggle and how that's impacted your life.
Sure, I grew up actually on a working dairy farm and was very active all my life through in sports, all through high school, college, into my adult life. I was very healthy and always physically fit. As I became older, however, and less active, plus 12 years ago, I started traveling for my consulting job, which all took a toll on my healthy lifestyle and contributed to my extreme weight gain. My weight gradually increased until I maxed out at 390 pounds, which is a morbidly obese body mass index, or BMI, of over 50. I had tried multiple weight loss diets and programs through the years, very little long-term success. And in addition, like many other people, other health problems started creeping in: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, and mobility issues increased. It became harder to go up and down stairs or get in and out of the car even. And I needed knee replacement surgery, but I couldn't get them because of the weight. So it was a struggle.
Yeah, so you're talking about all those struggles. I mean, and like you say, being very active on a dairy farm, all of a sudden seeing your weight probably was hard to step on the scale, even, to see what the number was going to be. But, having the need for knee replacement wasn't the only issue. Tell us about some of the heart issues you were dealing with.
Well, from 2014 to 2016, I developed and was treated by several Spectrum cardiologists for atrial fibrillation. That's a condition that causes an irregular and often rapid heart rate, and also advanced heart failure. Not really much history in our family of heart problems, but the AFib caused one of my heart valves to deteriorate and get really bad. So at that weight of 390 pounds, it was determined it was too risky to undergo the open heart surgery I needed to correct the condition.
So, okay, so you're at an impasse, you know what I mean? When people talk heart, all of a sudden you realize that this is really serious.
Very serious, yes.
Yes, very serious. So what was it that convinced you to investigate bariatric surgery options?
Well, again, I tried various diets over the years, but would eventually regain the weight. After losing 100 pounds, actually, through a medically supervised weight loss plan in 2008 through Spectrum, I eventually gained it all back by 2017. And that's when I made the decision to start looking into the bariatric surgery. And knowing I needed that open heart surgery, the risk was very high due to the BMI. So that was really the final factor that convinced me I had to take action.
So talk about your experience with the bariatric team at Zeeland Community Hospital, and what was the process for, you just couldn't go in and say, I want to have that surgery. There was a whole process to the experience.
Yes, excellent team. Spectrum and Zeeland Hospital, excellent, very professional. Yes, you're right. It is a process. At first, I attended a free educational seminar through the hospital. I met the team and decided that the gastric sleeve procedure, or GSV, was best suited for my needs, or VSG, I guess they call it. And there are other types of bariatric surgeries to consider, but that was the best for me, the VSG. Dr. John Schramm, along with the PAs, the nurses, the dietitians, and the administrative staff are excellent there. They really work as a team with a sincere goal to get me back on a healthy lifestyle, not just a focus on just losing the weight. Once I met the criteria for the surgery through my insurance carrier, I had a 6-month pre-surgery program that I had to go through to prepare for the surgery, meeting the team every 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, so I guess the question would be, what I mean, you told us you were at 390. How much did you weigh prior to surgery? And now when I look at you now, it's so wonderful to be able to see you via a Zoom. How much do you weigh now? Because I think that's the question that people are thinking about as they hear your very inspirational story.
Yes. Well, prior to the surgery and through that 6-month preparation phase, I actually started the journey at 390. By the time of the surgery, I was actually down about 14 pounds, down to 376 when I went into the surgery on December 16th of 2018. Right now, basically within the 12 months post-surgery, I was down to 269 pounds. So a successful loss of 121 pounds. My wife says it's like a whole nother person. And then I proceeded to have the open heart surgery, and I currently weigh 289. So 1 year after the open heart surgery, again, still success in keeping the weight off. It takes a long time for your body to adjust to that new normal weight, if you will. But my overall goal is to have a total loss of 150 pounds. So I still have some more work to do.
Wow. That's just amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, let's talk a little bit about the surgery. And what was your recovery like?
Well, the actual surgery was, once it was scheduled, it only lasted 40 minutes with a 2-hour recovery in the hospital. They actually laparoscopically removed almost all of my stomach. They go in and through this particular procedure, through 6 small incisions, a couple for cameras, a couple for devices, etc. But they end up cutting your stomach out, stapling it back, and leaving a small 4-ounce pouch. Mm-hmm. And no other organs had to be redirected or altered. The post-surgery process involved bi-weekly meetings, primarily with a dietitian now, as I had a very controlled post-surgery diet of liquids for several weeks, 6 weeks, and then off to soft foods, and then eventually to an unrestricted diet. My main goal through this period was to eat 60 grams of protein. You have to get the protein in every day, which was actually difficult to do. It was hard to do because my stomach was so small now, and you couldn't really take in much food to eat at any one time. So, and I was actually back to work and traveling again within 2 weeks. So it was very, very easy recovery period for me.
Wow, that's wonderful. And like you say, what I mean, the goal was when you had this heart diagnosis, you wanted to get that weight off so that you could have the heart surgery so that you could have a quality of life.
Exactly.
So, okay. So, Jim, it's been 2 years now, over 2 years. Mm-hmm. You've been successful in keeping the weight off. Has that been a struggle? Some people may say, wow, Pardon, Gary? Do you have a question?
No, I did not. But they were talking about the struggles and trying to keep that weight off, Jim. And certainly that has to be something that you have to keep in mind.
So, yeah. So, Gary, Jim, how do you do that? How do you, keep that focus?
Well, I certainly have a very good support network that helps me, the family at home here for sure. It's really a lot of a mindset change as well. But to keep focused, keep very active. I'm much more energetic. I have a lot more energy. I'm more involved physically now with bicycling, walking, of course. My wife actually is a hiker, backpacker, and she wants me to go on the Appalachian Trail with her, but we'll see if I do that. But again, being very sports-minded, trying to be as active as possible. And again, physically, it's just, you can't take in much food at any one sitting. You have a very small amount of portion control. So, and just keep a main focus in the mindset of what I've accomplished.
Right. And like you say, your whole life has changed when you've gone from 390 and your goal is to get down 150 pounds. You probably have the energy, like you say, you have the ability to bike and walk. And wow, if you take on the Appalachian Trail, I mean, that's quite a feat. That's quite a feat.
Exactly. Plus, I'm off all the blood thinners, the medications. I have no more problems with my knees, so I don't even need knee surgery anymore. Again, the heart rhythm is normal. Very successful. I'm very pleased with it. So
Yeah, so what I hear you saying is a lot of those conditions were as a result of the weight loss that that you had. So there might be somebody listening out there, and you mentioned you had initially lost 100, then you gained it again. Is there any advice that you would have for someone who's considering bariatric surgery?
well, my advice is to not wait. I mean, I wish I'd done this 10 years ago. Don't wait, even if you're just evaluating or considering or exploring the options and struggling with the weight or the medical problems. Excuse me. It's much easier than what you hear or read about. My experience was very easy. As long as you stick to the plan and work with a bariatric support team, they're very, very professional.
Right.
The first step is really attending that seminar. So I would suggest getting there to that seminar as soon as possible to learn as much as you can and make an informed decision.
Right.
Let me step in for a moment there, Sara, to ask Jim Root a question. Jim Root, of course, had bariatric surgery at Spectrum Health-Zeeland Community Hospital. Let me ask a question about the mental aspect. It is one thing to look back at it now, and it was great, and you got through the situation. But it's another thing about the moments. Maybe not moments, but the days before the surgery, maybe some trepidation, maybe some concerns, will this work out? How did you overcome some of the maybe natural concerns that one would have about having a surgery such as this? Because anytime you have surgery, it's a natural thing. Am I going to get through it okay?
Yeah, great question, Gary. For me, it was all about working with Dr. Schramm and the team. They were excellent at preparing me for it, making me understand what the risks were with the surgery, exactly how the surgery is performed. I am an engineer by trade, so I was very detail oriented and asked a lot of questions. Of course, I'd done some research on it, on the different types of bariatric surgery, but I was very comfortable going into it. And as far as the mindset overall, I mean, I guess as you get older in life, it's like, I've spent, the first 55, 60 years of my life eating whatever I wanted, doing whatever I wanted, as long as the physical activity kept me in check. But once that happened, you have to realize that, hey, this is, you've got another 20, 30 years to live. You want to make sure that you're as healthy as you can be going forward. So it's somewhat of a mindset change, but yes, so the staff was making me very comfortable with it.
Well, and I think, that's something which I hear a theme coming through is there's a real support staff that will go around you. There's a dietitian that's going to help you. There's, other folks that are going to help with the mental aspect of it, with the physical aspect. It's a team. It's not like you're having the surgery and you're left. People are going to walk through because they realize, as Gary has said, that it is such an adjustment for many people because it's a whole lifestyle change.
And actually, part of the preparation phase of the 6 months before the surgery, they actually had me meet with a psychologist, and part of the program is that the psychologist has to approve you to be able to go through this surgery. So actually, there's some testing involved mentally as well as your environment and stability and so on with the procedure. So that was helpful as well.
Well, Jim, we could talk for a long time, but this is only a 15-minute show. But I just want to congratulate you. What an inspirational story. And we just wish you the best as you continue your journey, and just really appreciate your willingness to be so open about your story, because there probably are people that are out there listening who are going through the same struggle as you. And as you said, people can go to a free educational seminar. And if you're listening and you want more information about that, you can call 616-267-7400. That's 616-267-7400. And they can tell you about the free educational seminar, which will give you information. And we are out of time, but Jim is also going to be sharing his story on our Spectrum Health-Zeeland Community Hospital Facebook page live on Monday, June 14 at 6:30 p.m. So we encourage you to tune in on Monday, June 14 at 6:30 p.m. Again, Jim, thanks for being here today. Until next week, Spectrum Health-Zeeland Community Hospital wishes you well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thanks for
it.
listening to Wellspring, presented by Spectrum Health-Zeeland Community Hospital on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.